Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen news with a quick roadmap update and a summary of some of the ship and vehicle feature information from Star Citizen Live. Also, Star Citizen Alpha 3.8.1 is currently in open PTU, so it's in its test phase and available for people to test. Devs have been flying around the Cutlass Red in the verse, which should be going to the live build at some point. And the latest PTU has the ability to set medical bays, currently only in the 890 jump, admittedly in that patch, to temporary spawn points, but it will open up to more ships. I believe backers testing that have also access to all of the ships currently, so it is worth checking out. Roadmap updates. Planning meetings are ongoing, so they sort of like reschedule every year, at least in January. They work out what their goals are for the year, that sort of stuff, and typically you get a big roadmap update. So they gave us a more minor roadmap update this week because they want to get the information accurate. They were hoping that they'd have the meetings done by now, but it's going to be a little bit longer. They are going to be updating the roadmap with more information and with their patch goals for Beyond 4.0 within the next few weeks. And expect a more stable, sort of like more up-to-date roadmap. Squadron 42 has seen some features completed though. FPS cover usage for AI version 1, walk and talk. FPS combat weapon types, again for both of those features are for AI. Vents and hatches, conversation system improvements, and gas cloud VFX improvements. They are all now completed. Flight Ace Pilot AI is not marked as completed though, and the player status system has seen some more tasks added. Player interaction systems improvements remain incomplete as well, but are making progress. They seem to be reworking the power systems feature as well. Bear in mind, those features were planned to be finished by the end of Q4 2019, so they still need to complete them. They are, however, making some great progress with features planned for Q1 2020 and even some of the Q2 features as well. The feature complete beta is still showing for Q3 2020, however, I suspect we will see a bit more of an update to the Squadron 42 roadmap in the coming weeks, just like the other. So for the Persistent Universe, they have given us a little bit of an update here. Rest stop space stations, unoccupied, or the automated ones, the ones that would have been abandoned or whatever, they've been pushed off the roadmap as they sort of shift focus on ground locations currently. The feature will be placed back in the roadmap in the future. The Carrack has had some tasks added to it, so it's sort of like gone back in its sort of completeness. But the Prowler has made some progress. The dates of February and March for their respective releases should still stand. Progress is being made on features for 3.9 and 4.0, but until they've confirmed any plans, we don't know exactly what features are going to be in those two patches yet. We can sort of like see what there's currently listed there, but when we have a little bit more of a detail of their rescheduling, we'll be able to know in a bit more detail exactly what's made it and what hasn't. However, I suppose we don't really know until the feature cutoff. So the feature cutoff for 3.9's build is mid-February. That's where they internally confirm which features have made it into the patch and which have been pushed back. Star Citizen Live update. So Star Citizen Live gave us some information on a variety of ship and vehicle features. They have a dedicated team for ship and vehicle experience, trying to improve aspects of that in the short, mid, and long terms. The physical damage system for both ship and FPS armor is being worked on. Even Chris Roberts is contributing to it. Different materials will act differently and be affected or mitigate different damage types. Damage to a particular area will have that area actually looking like it's been damaged by the appropriate weapon, and bits may be broken off. It may damage the materials underneath and the systems underneath, all that sort of stuff. The power of thrusters will play a much greater role in the future, especially for atmospheric flight. Thrusters will be weaker effectively in atmosphere. You will have this variable thruster power. They hope this is a good solution between sort of hover and flight assist modes and will hopefully please everyone, or at least most people. Ships and the sign distance fields are being sort of used together to help map forces on ships in atmosphere, so they can work out how the wind or how flying in a particular part of the atmosphere or location is going to affect your ship in a bit more detail. The flight model is still being dialed in though, and they need balance for each ship individually. Atmospheric flight and the flight model require more of the core elements and other systems to come online before they will be in a good state. They may add the ability to override systems like thrusters, pushing them past safeties, but having them take damage instead, so not really overclocking in the same way, sort of like preventing them from being able to turn off so that they go on for longer past their sort of safety limits. They should be adding more ships to the customizer that the 300 series is on in the future, the website customizer, but it's about as much work as building out a whole ship to get one added to that, apparently. Shields are getting a refactor that will solve current issues and shield holes. We know that there's the sign distance field tech that they're doing for that so that it conforms to the hulls better, and they should work much better with the hulls of each individual ship. Hatches and doors are going to be used for boarding and docking, and they are made to specific metrics for those purposes. We will have aftermarket customization of our ships in the future, and the ability to add decals, stuff like that, but to what extent, they have not gone into full details, like confirmed details yet. They are adding gimbal assist to turrets. They sort of want to level the playing field when it comes to a bit of a skill floor and skill ceiling. There's a lot going on with that. It's going to be heavily balanced, though, in the future. Bear that in mind. It shouldn't be something to despair about. Power plants and batteries on ground vehicles in the future will be important. You may need to charge your vehicle every so often. Some vehicles will be able to boost, but others won't. The Cutlass Red Medibays will be functional at launch. They are going to be improving ship landing UIs as well, so you'll have a lot of features there. Balance with a lot of this stuff will come in the future, but they are working on major updates with physical components and the physical damage system. Those will really help and change the game. Multi-function displays and multi-crew gameplay for ships is going to be getting a bit of a rework and some additions. They want these MFDs, these panels, to be a bit more intuitive and have less problems. There were problems mentioned about a player accessing them and then basically locking out other players accessing the same one or whatever, or the MFDs in general. Also, once they have physicalized components, you'll literally be able to do like engineer and repair jobs, things like that. They are really, really going to be ramping up the multi-crew experience in the future, but at the moment, turrets are the easiest thing for them to do until the rest of the core systems are online. And that was really it for Star Citizen Live and this week's in news. A lot of the rest of it was either stuff we already known or is a bit of fluff. I will link the original down below for you, as well as the patch notes, or at least my latest video on the 3.8.1 BPTU build. If you've got any questions about the news this week or anything about Star Citizen, I'd love to hear from you. Are you playing in Alpha 3.8.1? Are you excited for the Cutlass Red and the ability to be able to spawn in the back of it and being able to do sillier things like that without having to constantly respawn at major landing zones? What are your expectations for the roadmap update, hopefully next week? Or do you think we'll get it in a couple of weeks' time? Do you think we're going to see a lot of additions for 4.0, 4.1, 4.2? Or do you think we'll see a lot of disappointment for 3.9? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Every month, we have a ship giveaway for January 2020. It's for an Anvil Arrow and Star Citizen game package. Just comment on any of my videos made this month to be in for a chance. More details in the description below. Oh, it's time to shill. If you're looking for a VPN, then consider NordVPN. They have many advantages over free VPNs, but are incredibly cheap, and I use them and can recommend. There's Shadow as well, which is an alternative to owning your own gaming PC. They give you a sort of Windows 10 environment focused on gaming, and it leverages the power of your internet and their cloud so that you can stream it to any device or other PC or laptop or phone or whatever. And you can now order systems with varying scales of hardware for up to 4K gaming, and as always, it works fantastically well with Star Citizen. It's an extremely affordable way to get access to a high-spec PC. Links below to Shadow and Nord, and make sure you use the code BoredGamer to get a discount. Thank you very much for watching, and if you want to support my channel further, consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member via the join button, or sharing my videos, or liking and subscribing. Take care, and I'll see you in the verse.